I got my whole hand here just full of creosote splinters, and they were coming out. My surgeon went and cleaned it up for me, but I had creosote splinters coming out of my fingernails for years. Your body's always trying to get rid of that which it doesn't want. So when you look at symptomology a lot, you'll see that the symptoms are generally expectoration symptoms, symptoms where the body's trying to get rid of. Unless you're locked where you just can't, then it's the raging burn of the tissue. This is Judy. Forgive me if I have commented on this topic, Dr. Morse. If you have commented, what's your opinion concerning the popular liver and gallbladder cleanse? I've already done it. Well, I don't know about the popular one. I don't believe in consuming salt water at all. I think that's a serious problem, because salt, depends what type of salt, of course, and I'm sure if we were talking about Celtic, real salt, Himalayan salt, better maybe. But when you get that inorganic, in my opinion, you're really trying to consume rocks that the body has to break up and try to use, and the electrical exchange of these minerals at these levels are low. When you look at salts and how plants take in the minerals, convert to salts, and how the fruits change all this, by the time you get it to the fruit level, it's so refined that your body can digest it well, absorb it well, utilize it well, and it's empowered with electricity. Not so much as you go down toward the elements. The further elemental you get, the less you see that, the more mundane. It would be like having an out-of-body experience going back into lower forms of life. And I don't mean lower as opposed to higher. That's a wrong way. But in what we might dub as lower forms of life in terms of plant, animal, that sort of thing, not meaning any negative about lower. But time is much slower. So to a weed that you see growing in your garden, by the time they get 6 inches, 8 inches, it feels an infinite time, because it's just time is still different. They're more in the now, yes, less mental, so more consciousness, so to speak, as opposed to thought-driven activities and stuff like that. So it's interesting, the different time differentiations of the different species in terms of how they perceive time. And it gets real claustrophobic. If you go back out of the body and you have a spiritual being that can take you back into those, or you go into the Akashic record areas, you'll see how you feel doing that. Interesting stuff here. But we use olive oil, of course, or some type of oil, but olive oil has been the most commonly used. I use grapefruit juice instead of lemon juice. It's a little less nausea, and for me, I always get a few slices of apple just so I can take a little bit of apple juice with that. Not much, just a little bit to help nausea. And, some people chug. I wouldn't, because I've seen a lot of people chug and throw it up. So, I just try to work that down. I forget, what is it, a half a cup or a cup of oil? I can't remember. But a lot of them are using the salt water with it. Disagree with that. Do not buy into that one. Don't need to do that one. And magnesium citrate. We had some South Africans giving themselves a liver flush with magnesium citrate and other things every month. And it's like, no, because of course, magnesium might be better in the terms of spasm, but how do you get stones out like that? You have to spasm the liver. And that much oil, of course, is going to cause a spasm of the gallbladder and liver. And that's how you eject the stones. It's not like you're creating a gooey slide and they're just sliding out. You're spazzing them out. And that's where you have to be careful. If you have cirrhosis or liver cancer, I would wait and get them out how you would normally, by alkalizing. Because remember, stones form in an acidic, dehydrated medium. How you hydrate and break apart stones is going to be a base or alkaline medium. It's just chemistry. But that chemistry should be understood by everyone because it's simple, it's easy to observe, and you can see that in all walks of life, what happens when you heat and cook, and you see the coagulation. Excuse me. So, I don't know if the popular one, I think, uses the salt water. I just don't agree with that. You can get them quite out fine. Now, we have a product from, let's see, that's one of the labs, but it's phosphate liquid, and it does tend to break up stones. And so we use that phosphate liquid. I'd say we start about 2 weeks before the flush. We put you on that. We put you on fruits, of course, because that starts to loosen up and dissolve and start to move things. And then the flush is easy and nice. If you go someone that is just jumping into a flush from a standard diet, I wouldn't. I think their time is not going to be good. You want to clean your bowels out. You want to have them clean nice. You want to be sure you're moving well, too. And that sort of thing. You wouldn't hurt to take a stomach and bowel number 2 or something afterwards to make sure everything comes out okay. And do that. As far as frequency, I'd be real careful about frequency because you really don't need to overdo it. If you do 1 or 2 at the most and then let your diet and everything else clean up the job, you're in good shape. But those with liver problems wouldn't be spasming my liver too much. I remember a lady once that had cirrhosis of the liver real bad, and I was bringing her back. She was near death. I was pulling her back, pulling her back, pulling her back, pulling her back. And then I thought it's time because she was full of stones. And of course, your liver gets full of stones too. So I flushed her liver gallbladder with that simple liver gallbladder flush, and she got pieces of liver out of her. And it was scary. What? So this is you learn. You learn sometimes the hard way. So it's enough to say, be gentle on yourself. You don't have to go into radical levels to get the body to respond. It's a simple matter of taking time to hydrate interstitially. That interstitial means around the cells. Remember, you have spaces around all your cells which have the fluids that take care of them. Interstitial fluid is what you see in a pimple. And you see just a little blood and mostly pus. And that's how you see the systems. The blood system is a minor system and the lymph system is a major system. It's not the other way around. And in allopathy, we treat blood as a major system, and it isn't. Both kills you. Blood will kill you quicker, no question, but both will kill you. The other is just a long, painful death, the lymphatic system. Not good. And so then you have to say, St. Peter, I died on my own sewage. Christy. Dearest Dr. Robert, dearest Christy, I want to thank you from the bottom of for being such a, thanks, honey. I appreciate that. I wasn't sure whether you're going to kick me or hit me. Thanks, honey. I appreciate that very much. I'm trying. I have been walking with this intense feeling and yearning in my heart to reach out to people. You know, that's that God force in you, honey. That's that God force saying, you know what? I can't hold. I have to give. Because when I give, I get. You know, when you hold, you bottle up and you dam up and you get, it changes you and warfs you. When you start opening up, I had a nice consult with a YouTuber last night, and this gentleman is doing meditation now, and he admits he's an A-type. He's just right there, and and now he started meditating and opening up and going through some emotional detoxes, and I could see the light beaming from his eyes now. Such a difference between using your mind and being soul, being conscious. And it's just the light starts pouring out of you, and it's fun stuff, guys. Fun stuff. And it just really turns you into a great spiritual being of love and divinity. It's great stuff. So that's what it sounds like to you, that your heart is going, I must give of myself because that's why I'm here. When you get those kind of nudges, you can plan those are coming from the divine, and therefore you act with that, because giving is how you get. Well-known little secret. I have this knowing that my life purpose is to be a healer and to help and lead others to the light. Oh my God, that's perfect, sweetheart. I am currently a student of homeopathic medicine in South Africa, but I have opened my eyes to all natural and ancient forms of healing and have completely adopted the law of fruits lifestyle. Now, having a homeopathic background is pretty good though, because I've been privy to know some great homeopathists, and when you get a homeopathist that knows what they're doing, they can give you the right treatment for the right problem. That's in stat situations, and a stat situation means immediate emergency. You know, that can help, especially with the natural ones. Part of homeopathy I don't like was when I went down with quinine poisoning. The antidote, of course, is minute frequencies of quinine, but my body responded bad. So, and I just don't believe in developing immunity from that sort of thing. When you have gnarly chemistry in you, let your body work to get it out. You know, but having that. So whatever modality you're in, if you're a chiropractor, this just makes your reputation soar. I've taken a lot of chiropractors in my life and sent their reputation out the roof. It just, if you can cure people from their problems, not from their diseases, that's medical world, from their problems, from their health problems, from what they've created. Remember this book? Remember this book? I Gave Myself Cancer. Very, very greatly put. I can't even say it was greatly put. And this is the message we need to give the folk, is look, we're creating our own stuff. They're brainwashing us. We have to turn around and protect ourselves from this. You know, yeah, and governments are just people too. So this world is meant to be some degree unconscious. So there's no judgment. Sometimes I get a little crazy, but there's no judgment on these souls because all of us are unconscious at some level or another. You know, so you can't judge with that. But sometimes you have to bring a little aggressive energy into places to wake things up. You know, sometimes the sleeping won't wake unless there's a jolt or a nudge. You ever notice sometimes it's hard for you to change if something doesn't smack you? It smacked me a lot. You know, that's how you learn, but that's how, as you get age, you can help others. I've been there, done it. How many times? You know, that's the experience, and you can't judge someone with that. It's those that don't have experiences that tout information as if they did. That's the ones you want to be careful with. Completely adopt the raw food lifestyle. I know our fruit lifestyle. I remember I had this lad in here yesterday. He told me a bunch of things he was doing, snowboarding and all kinds, just on fruit. And he said, I can't believe it. You know, and it's what I've been telling you guys. You're going to enter zones where it defies all logic about calories and all things that you've been taught, especially you athletes. I'm telling you, you'll get some levels just on fruit. You're going to be going whoosh right around your opponents because you've removed the obstructions to energy. And the energy now is coming direct from the cell, and then from the cell, from your consciousness. And there is no greater power, and there's no off and on to that power. That's the problem. The off and on is you have to find a balance with food now the opposite way. You already know what's good for you, but sometimes you use a little cooked soup or a little of this just for a state of balance. If you are not used to that as a practitioner, please take that in consideration, especially when you're working with, say, a cancer case or a case that's full of acids and tumors. You might be a little while, and they can get ratted out, especially if you have to jump them right into a fruit diet because they don't have long to live. So you give them a little something once in a while just to bring their emotional and everything into balance. Who cares? Who cares? You know what I mean? We do the same thing. I do the same thing. Who cares? This physical body is not eternal. This physical body is not you. This physical body is simply your vehicle that you're driving around on this rock called planet Earth. You want it to work for you. You want it to be healthy because it's not good when you don't feel good. And the more in pain you are, it pulls you down spiritually. So yeah, you want a nice car. And that's what this is about. And nice cars, nice bodies, helps you as soul to be free. Free from pain, free from all types of things. You just feel free. And when all the bodies are healthy, the mind is under control, the emotions are under control, and you're in control. Love it. Only way to be. I know that I shouldn't be waiting until I graduate to start helping people, but self-doubt has been a really big obstacle for me. And you know, sweetheart, I'm glad you brought that up because a lot of people do have that. But a lot of people gauge this field with the medical field. No. That field is a totally distinctly different field. If you look at the health field, we've got homeopathy, we've got naturopathy, we've got chiropractics, we've got Qigong, we've got, you name it, massage, name it, colon therapy. We've got all kinds of things that make you feel good and get you well. Over here separately, though, is a whole raging modality that uses toxic chemicals that treats disease symptoms that they've set up for themselves. So what they try to do is, I mean, we've been over this many times, how you look at the ass end of the donkey. So when you see symptoms, you have to go back and ask yourself, what's the causative factor in chemistry and physics that are causing? Because these are the two main sciences that drive nature, that drive life. And energy and magnetics drive chemistry. And what drives energy? Consciousness. And that's what quantum physics, remember, is discovering, that energy has intelligence. Whoa, whoa, what a stretch for the average person to understand that energy has consciousness. But I think the average person can understand that more than the scientist, because sometimes when you're a scientist, you're so educated, so intellectual, that gets in your way of seeing truth. That's where you have to be careful at a certain level of education, that you keep detached from what they're trying to feed you and what these books are saying, realizing these are people's viewpoints. And keep in mind when you're studying, you students, when you get into theories, because that's when you break away from actualities. And I like to keep with actualities. It's nice to have a theory, this, it could be this, it could be that. But when you take a theory and you drive it in like a spike and it says this is reality, no. That's the problem with intellectualism. We saw that with the earth is flat. Remember that? There was a lot of theories way back in 1800 that was, people were going to jail for having radical theories back then. Okay, but listen, don't let anything bother you. You all have the simple knowledge of wellness. It's all you need. You don't have to go to years to school. There's no big intellectualism here. That's the beauty of it. You have to realize not everything needs to go to school. Not everyone has to have an education to learn how to be healthy. Are you kidding? That's your right. The only reason we're unhealthy is those people that went to school thought they knew better. Look at the American Dietetics Association. And they don't even know chemistry or physics. And yet they're dictating to our children and in hospitals what you should be eating. It's way out of balance here. Thank God for Michelle Obama throwing a little good stuff in there and saying, hey, you got to start thinking healthy. But she's getting a lot of resistance from that already. They kind of hit her on that. And it's like, no, she's right. Health, essential. So I'm proud of her for standing up for that. I want to know that it is your videos that have helped me to realize that I am doing myself and the world a big injustice by not following the calling and absolute faith. Well, sweetheart, don't give that a thought. Don't give yourself any type of self-doubt or any type of thing from that. You have to go with your heart, and when you're ready, you'll go out there. And just know that when you're truly ready, all the doors will open for you. And that's what I'm saying. If you kick back from the mind and just spend more time just hanging out and observing and watching and being conscious and watching from consciousness as opposed to thinking, boy, your world is going to change incredibly so. I mean, this is the doorway, guys, to the heavens. And this is good stuff. Don't take anything to yourself. When you're ready, sweetheart, the doors will open. And the more of us that work together as one, the better, because we are curing people right and left everywhere around the world. It's amazing. There's some that's hard. Yes, absolutely. Nobody said this was easy. I've never said this was easy. Sometimes I do comment that, that's an easy one, that sort of thing. Only when you realize what difficult cases we're working with. Some cases are a piece of cake, and I don't mean to be nonchalant and not appreciative or anything like that of the case. It's just that some of the cases we've had to work on and bring back to life, other cases are much easier. So some cases we're working all the time trying to bring them back. And don't ever feel that I lessen anything. It's just that some people have an easier way to go than others, for sure. Some are really steeped in bad karma, really have to work themselves out of this. But you have the opportunity to do it. That's the point. And you want to do it, because either that or enjoy the view here, because you might be seeing that for a while. There are no words to explain the renaissance I feel with your energy and your, oh, thanks, sweetheart. Yeah, you're a good soul, honey. I'll be able to sit down with you for a session of soul feeding. Love it. Thank you again. Appreciate it. Well, love you, sweetheart. Love you bunch. Thanks so much. That's a love right there. That's a nice lady. And she's awful beautiful, too. I can recognize beauty. Thanks, sweetheart. No.